Tuesday, October 29th, market analysis, Stan Ehrlich. Good morning. 10:18 California time, a little after the middle of the traditional trading day in this part of the country, Pacific Standard Time. It is 6:30 to 1 o'clock. So, are we topping out or not in these stock market indexes? You know, I've been looking for a top for more than a couple of weeks because of the month of October, which is essentially now out of the question. It is highly unlikely that we're going to get a dip down quickly enough to get there by the close of business on Thursday, the last calendar day of October. And that break would be at a very bare minimum, at least down to 57.19. But that's not what I really wanted. You asked me a couple of weeks ago or a month or two ago, I would have said the market should come down to at least 54.75 and very possibly down to 52 and a quarter ish, and maybe even lower, but that's not likely now. Are we still topping out? And is there going to be some kind of a break during November? Yes, we may be. But I keep saying, especially these last several days, I got to see more downside follow through, momentum. And except for the low that we had on the 23rd of October, that's it. That wasn't much of a dip. Very minor, classically, actually, a dip in a bull trend. Now, we haven't made new highs yet, but if that happens, we'll probably have another rally up just like we did between October 8th and October 14th. Something along those lines. No October low. I can't really call the lowest low for the month on October 2nd any kind of a significant dip. The sell signal made or lost just a tiny bit one way or the other. No other signals recently, not even overbought, but very close. If we start closing below 5,800, then it's going to be November when we're probably going to have a low, but that ruins the track somewhat, ruins the track record, which is well over 90% for the last 31 years that the S&P has had a low worth buying of significance during October. Just look at the last couple of years. They're particularly great examples. So I'm waiting for some sort of an upside breakout, downside breakout. We're a little rock between locked in a spot between a rock and a hard spot. So I'm obviously out of step here a little bit, but I will be in step very quickly, I'm sure. Now, the 5-minute chart for the E-mini, well, popping up a little resistance. A very short-term 5-minute chart got a little overbought, expecting a dip, but I got to break this yellow line, the low of 2 days ago, and that yellow line, the low the day before that, and that yellow line the day before that. And on a closing basis, in other words, I got to start getting down to 5801 or lower, 5800 or lower. Next, Spider, basically all the same commentary. No change of opinion or comments relative to the E-mini, as you might expect. We could very well be building some sort of a top here, but high and last for the day at the moment. Don't see anything particularly interesting to scream bloody murder. It's about the top out. Only a variety of highs in the last 2 weeks in this ballpark area. So we could. QQQ, testing the highest highs since July. The top of the market was actually July 11th, and we could be building a broad double top. I got to see that start. Otherwise, you're going to plow through that resistance and get up to 505 and higher. So we're right on the edge of something rolling over and getting bearish. It is an outside trading range day. At the moment, it's an outside up day, normally bullish. Sometimes these are not bullish. Sometimes these are bass-backwards reversals and begin something bearish. But usually they're also overbought at the same time. This is not. I don't know. I'm trying to keep some bearish expectations and chart activity in mind because I was expecting that October low. Now it's just not happening. And I'm bending toward the bullish direction, but not quite there yet. 5-minute chart on the QQQ. Trying to make, almost making, very close to making new highs. Okay, the NASDAQ futures NQ, same thing. This could be a new high close for the trend up since the August lows, where we got a buy signal at the bottom of the market, I might add. And we got a sell signal on the exact high day, I might add, on July 11th. And a good sell signal on that rally high right there, August 22nd. That's not a bad buy. It's not the lowest low. They don't always happen at the very highest highs or lowest lows, but frequently. So I'm at a loss to say anything fantastic on the bear side, and I'm starting to look at the bull side. I'm just not quite in the bull camp yet. And here we have the YM, a bit of a different story. The Dow has dropped off significantly, but on a longer term basis, it's back to support. And if it turns up here, it's typical correction, a week, a little bit less in a bull trend. Next chart may be bottoming out here. I can't tell quite yet, but it's certainly losing downside momentum. We start closing above 42,708. Then we'll probably pop above 42.85, 42.8 and a quarter. And if that happens, you will have turned around and starting to move up some more. Okay, Russell, a bit of a different story. We had a sell signal a couple of days ago, got stopped out of both of them. Yesterday, we're flat. Right now, it's down a little bit, but it did make a higher high by a few ticks. I have no signals. RSI is neutral as heck. We're bouncing off of support. We're between a rock and a hard spot, major resistance, yellow above and red support below. Next, Russell, 5-minute, and we're going to go to bonds. Bonds have exceeded my expectations. They've gone down as low as I had forecasted and into the month of October. And of course, all that happened a couple of weeks ago when it got down to, well, that was on October 10th. That satisfied my desire to get into the box and during the month of October. So it did it. Now we're at the bottom of this expected price range and almost at the end of October. And it's not showing any signs yet of reversing, but we are very oversold and we have a divergence. So it's a setup for hopefully a bullish green ER buy signal. And this, in an oversold condition, could do it if it just got above yesterday's high. But we're lower on the day by 10. We've made a new low for the move down. It's not turning around yet. Don't jump the gun. But this is a very good setup. 10-year notes, exactly the same commentary. It has now reached my objectives in every respect, including the double top formation, let alone the head and shoulders. They both worked. It is oversold in a expected price range during the time frame, but I got to see a turnaround. We're still down 8, no reversal, not getting anything at the moment except the setup is really good looking, but it could work a little lower still before it starts to turn. Okay, crude, heat, unleaded. Then we have gold, silver, platinum, copper. So down 27 at the moment in crude. New low. The market gapped down yesterday significantly. Let's put a little zone in there real quickly so I don't forget about that gap. There we go. And gaps are almost always closed, so I do expect to rally back up to the high of the gap around 70.02 and then down some more. The down some more may happen first before the rally. The rally doesn't have to happen, but it's likely to close the gap sometime in the relatively near, next week or 2 or 3 future. So you might go lower first and then come back. That looks quite plausible. Basically bearish. Heating oil, new lows for almost, yeah, it looks like almost a month. Sell signal on top, the high day. Actually, it went up here almost on the highest day as well. That was almost on the highest day. So we've got another good one, past tense. We had a trade, well, two. All of them, I think, made money in every case. ER1 scalping overnight and ER3 scalping overnight. Anyway, the three overnight did the best, got out about a week or so ago. Great. But we're making new lows now. How come I'm not short still? Well, I didn't want to withstand that kind of a rally. And then maybe if it didn't stop, it would keep going up more. And then where am I? I've given away 90% of my profits. So don't do that. I'm waiting for new signals. I'm bearish. I'm looking for a test of lows. Natural gas. Buy signal worked for a couple of days. We're out. Done. Gone. Now I'm looking for a test of the lows, if not lower. Next, gold. Hey, we got a sell signal and it didn't work. We're out of both positions today on the rally, and it's trading well above where we exited our shorts. So I'm glad I'm not short anymore, but unfortunately, it was a bad signal. So this is bullish, very bullish looking. New high close. Looks like it's got follow through. It's just barely getting up into overbought territory now at 76. It's setting itself up for another, what looks like a normal correction in a bull trend, maybe down to about 26.93. I can't rule out a bit lower, 26.20. Next chart is the silver. Did get overbought, did roll over, has had a correction back to support, and now new highs on the rally. Not for the trend yet, but we're not far away. This is typical of a bull market. Breaking resistance, getting overbought, coming back to support areas, turning around. Bullish, looking for higher levels. Platinum, new highs for the trend up here recently. Only thing I can say is it's getting overbought on the first day today, but all of the trading range is above the previous resistance area that didn't stop this rally. So now if it comes back down to about 1042, it may hold and turn around and make new highs again. Bullish. High-grade copper. A bit of a different story. We're going sideways in a support and resistance zone, and other than the bullish and bearish engulfing that we have right now, a little lower than yesterday's low, well above yesterday's high and previous several days. But right now we're a little lower on the day, so it's an outside down day. That could push the market into new lows. This is what I vote for, because we did get a sell signal on the top of the market exactly, on the bottom of the break exactly, almost at the bottom of the break. And too bad we didn't get something up there. Looks like came close. Not quite. Yep, this is a bullish engulfing instead of bearish. So it was a bass backwards. It got bearish. Okay. So copper, bearish, looking for a move down, probably starting tomorrow. Next, soybeans, grains. So we got beans, oil, meal, corn, wheat, and then cattle, hogs. Now, about to make new lows since early September, late August. Expecting the recent lows last week to be broken. Expecting a test of the lowest low for the trend, and expecting lower than that. Maybe down to the bottom of this broad channel. And the channel is not a bad channel. It's a pretty decent one. You got at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 3 major touches on the line. 1, 2, call it 1. 1, 2, call it 2 on the top. So it's established nice parallel lines. Looking for a move down, maybe, and it'll take a couple of weeks to 880. Next, oil, soybean oil. Resistance stopped the rally. Previous rally highs have a couple of sell signals right on top of the rally. They work modestly well, just a little. But they're there, and the market's having trouble in the same price range again a few days ago, and now has made lower lows yesterday on a sharp break. Today's little bounce doesn't ring too much inside yesterday's big range. Looking for a test of 41.37 that easily and then probably down to 40.66. Next stop on the downside, and I'm not saying it's going to stop at 38.60, but bounce maybe, and then lower. Next, meal. Got to say the same thing, except we're oversold now. Third day at the trend line I've been talking about for quite a while, and also at support. So it might break the trend line a little bit and bounce off support, one or the other. But now it's prime target for a rally. Well, how much? Oh, I don't know. 310, 320 looks very plausible. Maybe back to 340 again, but got to be bearish. Now, there's one caveat here, and that is this is a big sideways range since this March. So we don't really have a very defined trend for the year. But the longer term picture also kind of fuzzy. So I do expect a more weakness and a test of 290. Next, corn, long-term trend very much down. Recent, we got a low that produced a signal on the low day. Got a good signal that yielded some really great short sales on October 8th. Not the highest high. Signal worked very well. And the secondary signal to buy at 10/21 is the date. Lasted a few days. Also did very well. What are we doing now? Bouncing a little after 2 days down, getting below the resistance area, which we are now poking back up into right now. Possibility of some reversal in here, but it won't be a signal, ER signal. Not oversold or overbought within the allotted previous days. So I can't get red or green. I like what I see. I don't think this is anything bullish. Looking for a test of previous lows. And I'm going to disregard that political call probably. The corn market should test lows around $4, 400, that meant, and very plausibly 385, maybe even lower than that. Wheat, same kind of commentary. Resistance has stopped rallies, short-term, intermediate term, and longer term. After those rallies, we've seen lower lows. We just had a rally few weeks ago. We've been seeing lower lows since. I think it's going to attack the bottom of the market at 520 and make lower lows. We did get a buy signal on the exact low day. That's great. Okay, cattle, bearish engulfing right now in a resistance area, but not quite overbought. You got to give it credit for getting very close, but it's not a signal. It got up to 74, 75 would have done the trick in the RSI, and it would be red if I had a 75 RSI, but we don't. So no red, but everything else is there, including the fact that it's a resistance area, not part of the formula, but I like it. And of course, the bearish engulfing is part of the code. Okay, close, almost a signal, turning bearish. Now let's see what it does when it gets down to 185. If that does not hold, then we're probably going to go down to maybe 180 or below. Hogs gapped up today in overbought conditions now. Very dangerous. And at the top of a support and resistance area, resistance. So we gapped up, maybe an exhaustion gap. You can only tell that after the fact. But it looks like the right spot for it. Overbought? Yeah, this could be it. I can't say it is it yet, but it certainly looks like a possibility. Back to the E-mini. What are we doing on the short-term charts? Dipping a little bit. Back to support. Starting to come back a hair. Nowhere near enough to, resolve any kind of a trading piece of information. NASDAQ pushing through those highs, getting right up there, making new highs. You guys have a great day and profitable trading to you.